Hey guys, okay, so I had the busiest day today. I had to do a bunch of things in the morning, and then I realized that tomorrow is Friday and I'm supposed to post a video tomorrow, and I was like, oh my god. I had completely forgotten that it was Thursday. And I actually wanted to film a tutorial for tomorrow's video, but I completely forgot. So I'll be posting that video on Monday. So I decided to just do a tag video because I feel like I haven't done a tag video in a pretty long time. And the tag I'm doing today is called the My First Time tag. And if you haven't seen this tag before, which I'm sure you have because it's like going all over YouTube right now, it is just a tag where you just talk about your firsts and nothing inappropriate, because my first time sounds extremely inappropriate. The first time I read the title of this tag, I was like, what? But it's not an inappropriate tag. And by the way, if you're someone who doesn't like tag videos, if you just like watching beauty videos, that's fine. Just don't watch the video. But sometimes I like to add personal things on this channel. I just think, why not? Okay, so I have all the firsts pulled up right here, and I'm not going to go in any specific order. I'm just going to read them and answer them. First crush. My first crush was actually when I was in preschool. I'm pretty sure it was preschool, yeah. I was like madly in love with this little kid named Ralphie. He was like this little chubby kid with like black hair. He had a mushroom haircut. He was like the cutest thing ever. His name was actually Raphael Justice. I still remember his full name. Psycho. He was actually a grade above me. He was in my cousin's class, and then we would all like hang out at the playground at the same time. And I just remember thinking he was like the cutest little boy in the world. There's actually a video of me at Denny's. My mom recorded this for some weird reason. I don't know. But there's a video of me at Denny's, and he's like a couple of booths down from me. And mind you, I was very, very young, and I was like turning bright red in the video because he was at Denny's at the same time that I was, and I kept looking over the like cushion and like freaking out because Ralphie was in the same Denny's as me. But yeah, I never saw him again after preschool or whatever. But yeah, he was my first crush. Number 2, first kiss. My first kiss was from my first boyfriend, if you could even consider that a boyfriend at 13. I don't know, like a fake little boyfriend. I was 13 years old, and it happened at my best friend's house, and his name was George. And I'm actually really glad that George was my first kiss because we became really, really good friends after that. And I know so many people like regret their first kiss, or oh my god, it was so awkward and weird. But I mean, it was awkward and weird. It's always awkward and weird. He was like one of my best friends all through middle school and high school. We would talk on the phone all the time. So I'm really glad that my first kiss was my friend, you know. Well, at the time he was like my boyfriend or whatever, but he was a friend of mine. So it wasn't like a regret or a weird first kiss. So that's good. Number 3, first boyfriend. My first boyfriend was George, but it was like a dumb little relationship. I mean, it didn't last very long, you know. We were clearly better off as friends. But my first actual boyfriend, like what I considered a serious, like a real boyfriend, was my freshman year of high school. His name was William, and he was really, really cool. He was actually a really, really good guy. So good to the point that I was young, I thought all guys were like that. And then when he and I broke up and I saw the kind of male species high school has, I was like, oh. Number 4, first best friend. My first best friend, from what I remember, is a girl named Kim. I met her in 4th grade. I didn't really have a best friend before that because my best friend was my cousin Janine, and I didn't feel like I needed any other friends. But I met her in 4th grade, and we actually sat next to each other, and one day for some weird reason we decided to write down our addresses. Don't know why, but when we looked at each other's address, we were like, our addresses look crazy similar. I mean, we're in 4th grade, so we didn't put 2 and 2 together, but we figured we lived pretty close to each other. And then one day she called my house, and she was like, okay, do me a favor and stand outside. And she was like on her bike, and she was like riding bike down the street while talking to me on the phone, and then she like rode bike right in front of my house 5 seconds later, and we were like, oh my god! And she lived literally 5 houses down from me, so we would like talk on the phone and stand in the front yard and just like watch each other from our front yard. Really weird. But yeah, she was my first best friend. She would go on trips with us. She was literally at my house every single day. First embarrassing moment. I actually have 2 really embarrassing moments because I don't know which one went first. They were both in middle school, which was the darkest time of my life. Middle school was just one embarrassing moment, to be completely honest, but I'll just give you 2 of them. Okay, so the first one my sister loves to laugh about, even till this day. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I was in 7th grade and it was raining really, really hard after school. So I was waiting in the front of the school for my mom, and when I see my dad is picking me up, it wasn't my mom, and he pulls up in this raggedy old truck that he loved so much, but it was just really old, and every time like he would turn the steering wheel, it was like ee! Like it made that noise. It was bad. But yeah, I see him pull up and I'm like, oh god, that truck. And then I see him get out of the car with this giant, what seems to be something that you would cover your car with, or like your tools with in a shed, a giant plastic bag. But it wasn't a bag, it was just like a sheet, but it was huge. Okay, it was this giant plastic cape, basically. And he comes walking towards me, like holding on to the cape, you know, over his head and walking towards me, and I'm standing there like, no, like freaking out, because he looks like a crazy person with this giant plastic thing, and he's like, come on, and I'm like standing under the roof. I'm like, no, trying to pretend like I don't see him. I'm like, no, and he starts getting mad. He's like, let's go, it's raining. And I had to walk to the car under this giant plastic bag, because of course, why wouldn't he have an umbrella? There was a lot of laughing and pointing, I remember. My second really embarrassing moment is more sad than embarrassing, but it really, really embarrassed me. I was walking with my friend Emmeline to my mom's car after school, and I thought this kid was like super cute. Like I had a huge crush on him, and he was standing behind me with his friend, and then all of a sudden I hear them laughing, like cracking up, and then they like walk around us, and then they just keep walking, like they ran away, like if they did something and then just ran. And then I was like, why were they laughing? And then my friend Emmeline's like, you have a huge piece of gum in your hair. And then I touch my head, and it's like this giant gum just stuck to the back of my head. And then I freak out, like clearly they put gum in my hair. So I run to my mom's car and I'm like freaking out. Long story short, when I got home, she had to take the gum out of my hair with degreaser, like what you clean the kitchen with, to break down the gum, because nothing was getting it out. And I was just like, why are people so mean? I was like freaking out in the kitchen, and yeah, that was really embarrassing and really mean. People are so mean. First plane ride. My first plane ride was actually in 2010. I had never ridden a plane before that, and it was when I was going to the Bahamas. Funny story though. Something happened where we missed our flight, and then when the plane was pulling up, like the plane that we were gonna take to go to the Bahamas, it was this tiny plane with propellers, like it had propellers. And I was like, I freaked out. I was like, okay, the first time I'm getting on a plane and it's this kind of plane. I literally prayed and cried the entire way to the Bahamas, which going from Miami to the Bahamas is like 30 minutes, but still, it was just traumatizing. But yeah, that was my first plane ride. I clearly don't like to fly. First fear. I actually didn't remember what my first fear was, because to be honest, my life is one big fear. I'm afraid of everything, and I've been that way since I was younger, so I really don't know what my first fear was. But I texted my sister and I asked her, and she was like, the dark, which is so true. I was so terrified of the dark. I remember that we shared a room, and like she would turn the TV off to go to sleep, and I would be like, no! And I would like freak out and make her turn the TV back on, and it would piss her off so bad. But yeah, I was terrified of the dark. I'm not anymore. I have to sleep in like total darkness now, but yeah, I was really scared of the dark. First pet. I've had pets all my life, so I don't remember what my first pet was, but from my memory, I'm pretty sure it was this like old Labrador we had in the backyard, and his name was Whoop, and he was like full of fleas and like old. But I really loved him. Me and my brother really loved him. I remember my brother Johnny really loved him. My first pet that I own, that's actually mine, like that's mine, is Cornelius, my Yorkie. But I've always had pets like as a family. I've always had dogs. First alcoholic drink. I remember this story vividly. So my best friend and I went to a party with one of our friends, Robert. And I don't remember how old I was. I think I might have been 15, which is so young, I know, but I was 15. And my friend was like, here, taste this, you'll like this. And I was like, what is this? And they were like, I remember it was Malibu coconut, no, Malibu something. I don't know, rum or something. I don't know, maybe Malibu is rum. I don't know, but I know the bottle said Malibu. And I remember tasting it and thinking it was the nastiest thing that I had ever tasted. But I remember Robert was like, oh my God, just drink it. There's barely anything in your cup, just drink it. Talk about peer pressure. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll drink it. And I remember drinking the cup and I felt like crap. Like literally, I felt so bad. And then my mom picked us up and I like walked to the car and I was sitting in the front seat like, and my mom was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, nothing. Nothing's wrong with me. But yeah, I remember that night vividly. It was so gross. And I've never really been a drinker. I'm 21 years old and I don't drink. First tattoo. My first tattoo was when I was 16 years old, and now thinking about it, that's crazy young for a first tattoo. I don't know what my dad was thinking letting me get a tattoo at 16, but he did. And I got a tiny little star on my foot because my sister had the exact same tattoo and I wanted the tattoo my sister had. So I got a star on my foot. First piercing. I guess my first piercings would be my ears. But if you're talking like piercings that are not ears, I got my belly button pierced when I was 16. I was going through something when I was 16 apparently, but yeah, I got my belly button pierced and I still have it. And no one ever knows because I do not show my stomach ever. Like I don't wear crop tops or anything like that. I just never show my stomach. So when I tell people I have my belly button pierced, they're like, what? First person you subscribed to on YouTube. It was either Makeup by Tiffany D or Mischievous. I think I'm saying her name right. Mischievous? I don't know. It was either, I think it was Mischievous actually, because I remember thinking that her makeup tutorials were so incredible, and that's all I would watch when I was, when I first started watching YouTube videos. Like she is all I would watch. First concert. My first concert was my senior year of high school, and it was my only concert. I've never gone to another concert, and I went to John Mayer's Battle Studies concert when he was down in Miami, and it was probably the best night of my life. I am a huge John Mayer fan, and I'm not a concert kind of girl, and I always said that the only concert I would ever go to is a John Mayer concert, just because people make me nervous and concerts have a lot of people, so that just makes me nervous. But I loved the Battle Studies concert. His Battle Studies album was my favorite album, so it was just a really good night. I loved that concert so much. And last question, first phone. My first phone was when I was in 6th grade, and it was this tiny blue Nokia that was like in black and white, and then it would light up orange. I don't know if you guys know what phone I'm talking about. It's old school, but it was my favorite phone. I loved it so much. It was like the cutest little thing. I mean, it's old, but I loved it. It was like my pride and joy. You know what I'm talking about. Like you have your first phone ever and you like guard it with your life, and you just think like life has begun. Okay guys, so that was it. That was my first time tag. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!